Here's the planes, trains, and automobiles. Now, this is cars. Americans are buying Volkswagens, apparently, in the near future that will be called Volkswagen, Voltswagen, instead of Volkswagen.
Oh.
And they didn't mean to do it, but apparently they accidentally put out on social media the new name of the vehicle, and it'll be an all-electric Volkswagen. And that's what they'll call it, Volkswagen. The release was dated April 29th, but they posted it a month early by accident. So people knew it yesterday.
You don't think it's an April Fool's scam?
Oh.
No, because I think they would have done it on April 1st if it had been an April Fool's scam. And they released it on March 29th, exactly 1 month before. And then the company deleted the release, and fixed their site and everything. But they say it is going to happen. They hope to have 70 electric models for sale worldwide in the next 8 years, which is a lot of companies are doing that now. You know, we've talked about GM trying to go all electric.
Oh, yeah.
Volvo.
They still be quieter than the original Volkswagens. Used to be loud. Chris Timms on it.
Really, yeah, the old Beetles were
lawnmower engines in them.
Well, it either
unmistakable sound.
Oh yeah, you hear them coming.
I suppose it's possible that they accidentally on purpose did that so people would start talking about it, because it was on all the news today that they accidentally put that out there, that they were supposed to be a month from now.
Yeah, big corporations tend not to do that.
Yeah, they said though it was a complete mistake and they weren't ready to make the announcement yet.
But as long as we're here, here's the pictures.
Well, and as soon as they put it up, you know everybody's got it. It's like even though you delete it, you know everybody is going to have that information because people screen cap it and whatnot. So anyway, they're the latest to go all electric. I don't know if are we going to wind up in all electric cars in the next 50 years? Is everybody going to have an electric vehicle? I know we've asked that before.
50 maybe.
I know we've talked about it
Where
before.
are you going to plug them in?
Well, that's just
what
it.
a parking lot's going to look like.
It's going to take 50 years to get, 30 years to get plugs put out there.
Yeah, but
every gas station going to have to change?
Every time we've talked about this, people say it's happening. I don't know where, but you can go and download apps and get online to see where these refueling, recharging stations are.
That's where you have to go. It would be paid. It'd be different companies. The BPs and the Texacos, the Exxons would be gone out of it. They won't go. They won't switch over to electric.
Well, you don't think so?
No, I think you'll get a whole new group of companies out there that would do it.
Can you imagine Exxon being, you don't need oil and gas anymore. So Exxon.
That's where all their money is. I mean, that's where their refineries are. That's where their tankers are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all in gas and oil.
We talked about this not long ago when GM made a similar announcement. And the thing I heard from it, the best email I got about it was, where is the electricity coming from? Right now, California goes through periodic brownouts because they don't have the electricity. So where is it coming from? It's like, how are we going to have all that power for everybody to drive an electric car? And I don't know the answer.
Come up with different ways for electric. You got to get it from windmills or
yeah,
but just the sheer number of vehicles on the road. I don't think it makes sense. The grid can't handle it.
You think there'll always be oil and gas vehicles out there?
At least a backup.
At least for a long time.
Yeah. How else are you going to get around?
Yeah, we are built on that. I mean, that is our thing.
There needs to be another level of battery technology, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or either change the batteries, or change parking lots so that there's charging plates underneath every single parking space.
Yeah,
that's the thing too.
Can you plug?
If you're a billionaire, you could invest in stuff like that now.
Grant, you're talking about these new cars, which we have touched on before. Now, Volkswagen's the latest to announce they want to go with an electric fleet. They want 70 different electric vehicles by the year 2029. Grant, go ahead.
Hey guys, T1 from Atlanta.
Thank you.
Just wanted to say, bought a brand new car this last weekend, and they are at the dealerships now encouraging everyone to lease for 3 or 4 years because they don't know what the market's going to look like for gas vehicles, and you don't want to be stuck holding that big asset in your hands.
No kidding. I didn't know that was happening.
Wow.
So is the idea that if people aren't buying gas combustion engines, that gas prices go even higher because nobody's buying them?
No, if demand is down, wouldn't the gas prices go low? Because nobody's wanting the gas?
Or they're not producing as much gas.
Maybe.
So it would
They'll
go up.
probably produce the amount to keep the numbers where they are.
I mean, you see how it fluctuates now.
Well, Grant, did you wind up leasing because of that?
We did, yeah. I kind of trusted the guy and didn't want to be holding that, big financing in my hand if the market turns.
Whoa, I had no idea.
Boy, that seems awfully soon.
Quick. To me, too. Or, has the infrastructure been there for a long time? When are they popping up? I have to agree with Chris Dim on this.
Oh, yeah, you don't see many of them.
It's not like
Thank you.
the car sales industry to pressure someone to make a deal.
Well, I don't know.
Unheard of.
Maybe you'd...
Not the car salespeople I know.
Maybe you'd prefer to lease.
Maybe you got to lease over
Maybe
here.
you should do the lease this way. I don't know. I didn't know they were doing that now. Now, he's in Atlanta. So
that's a whole nother world.
They may be doing it.
I'm sure they have more places to charge vehicles there.
in larger
than you and
cities.
I see.
Oh, yes.
And there must be an app or
But
something
still,
you can find these places.
There's no way. I mean, look at the highways in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to plug all those cars in every single day.
You're going to get caught in traffic with a battery?
Well, it always. How often do you have to plug them in? Could it be just once a week, like you're buying gas, or would you have to plug them in every night? You
I
have
don't know
to
the
have
answer.
one in your driveway. Ashley, you're talking about these new cars. Go ahead.
Yeah, I actually sell cars for a living, have for 6 years, and we are not encouraging people to lease because we don't know what the business is going to be like. We encourage them to lease so they get a new car every 3 years.
Yeah, so so it's better for you if they lease, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I work for Nissan. We have an electric SUV coming out maybe by the end of the year, and we do have charging ports at the dealership. So there's 3 charging ports where people that have Teslas or any car can come charge their vehicle.
How long does it take to charge a vehicle?
There's 3 different ways. There's a quick charge. There's like a trickle charge for your house, but the one at the dealership, I think a 2-hour quick charge.
2 hours. Okay. All right. Thank you.
I don't know,
That's a
kind of
lot.
2 hours quick charge. That's a
Yeah.
little misleading.
Thank you, Ashley. Now
Not
she's
to
got-
You better have a good snack machine.
yeah, well, yeah, you got to sit there for a couple hours. It's got to be down to where it's 5 minutes.
And who doesn't want to sit at a car dealership?
Right.
For a couple hours?
Well, while you're here, you want to kick some tires?
Yeah.
I see you're driving an old Tesla.
Why don't you lease?
It has to get to where you can stop anywhere, like you'd stop at a gas station
And just refuel.
and take 5 minutes or 2 minutes to
We're not there yet.
recharge it. Not yet. But in Atlanta, they're pushing you to lease a vehicle.
Yeah, I don't know
just
about
because of
Atlanta.
it. This is
That call from Atlanta.
Yeah. I hope he didn't get snookered there.
I know.
By some sort of
Or he's a
disreputable-
dealer himself.
Maybe, I don't know.
Encouraging you to lease.
There is a story involving cars here today as well from New Mexico. A guy pulled out of a supermarket parking lot and found that 15,000 bees had invaded his back seat while he shopped. He was literally at the supermarket, he said, for 45 minutes, and 15,000 bees got into his open windows outside of Albertsons in Las Cruces, New Mexico at 4 o'clock yesterday.
Honeybees?
Yeah, honeybees, all in there. 15,000 of them.
I wonder if a queen flew in there and then they just followed her.
Maybe that's what is that
That's
how it
usually
does?
how
That's what
That's
happens.
usually what they do.
A firefighter who is also a beekeeper happened to be by. And
What are the odds?
Yeah.
Which suit would you like me to put on?
Beekeeper.
Want me to set it on fire or just get him out gently?
I can do either one.
He relocated the whole swarm. How about that? Took him
It's like that hot girl that was
Yeah.
all over the internet last week.
Yeah.
That's where I learned my beekeeping.
The
Yeah.
gentle beekeeper.
all of a sudden, Dave's a beekeeper.
No, never would have guessed. They'll kill me.
I know.
But for her,
I know.
take me.
Paul, you're talking about charging cars. Go ahead.
Yeah, you don't have to have the big infrastructure that you have for gas, because 90% of the charging you're going to do at your house at night.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not as much electricity being used at night, so they incentivize you to charge at night.
Mhm.
Electricity, I know in Raleigh, is cheaper at night. So that's where your electrical power is going to come from.
Well, you seem to be pretty knowledgeable about this. Do you see this happening in the next how many years until the majority of people are driving electric cars?
50 is a really safe bet, but I would say maybe even sooner, maybe 30.
30 years. Everybody's got an electric car. Man, can you imagine? It's hard for me to wrap my mind around it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that.
Maybe an electric hearse will take me to the cemetery.
What do you bet? Let's put a bet on that right now. Will an electric hearse? We'll have to stop and recharge. The body sits bolt upright.
That's too much. That's too much.
Little Frank
No,
Wiley.
the other plug. The other plug.
Back off of that.
Why are we playing into this gas station? Oh, we got to charge.
Charge him up.
Them's out.
Lisa, you have a Tesla, so you know something about charging a car. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. We have a charger in our garage, and my husband charges every night when he gets home. He gets probably almost 400 miles to a full charge.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're going to have a trip, there is an app on your phone.
Yeah.
And you can plan your trip, and it shows you where all the chargers are along
Good.
your trip. And there are normally around places that are bathrooms that are easily accessible, restaurants. So when you charge, probably takes about 20 minutes for a Tesla charger to fully charge.
So not bad then.
That's
so
not bad.
It's been easy for you then.
Oh, absolutely.
And is it saving you money because you don't have to worry about gas?
Yes, definitely. My husband used to have a Grand Cherokee, and he drives 2.5 to 3 hours round trip to and from work.
Wow.
And that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
So definitely, and our electric bill has not gone up that much at all. We live about an hour outside of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Wow. And your electric bill has not
That was
gone
my
up.
next question.
That's very interesting. Okay, Lisa, thank you very much. Could be the wave of the future. Maybe. By the way, the guy the firefighter, who's also a beekeeper, said he had a hive kit, lemongrass oil, gloves, and proper attire, and it took 3 hours to get all the 15,000 bees out of this person's car.
His milk got hot.
You better believe it.
Yeah, you got
I mean, who would have thought that just while you're shopping for groceries? But a P1 who had, you say something similar happened. Go ahead, sir.
Probably about 5-6 years ago, I was going to a football game with my son. He was about 10, and we pulled on this little side road to walk over to the game. And he got out of the car and instantly got stung by a wasp. And I'm like, oh, Christ. So he shook it off, and we go to the game. Well, of course, it's warm that day, so he left the windows cracked. So we walked back to the car. I must have parked on a wasp nest in the ground because the inside of the car was just filled with hundreds of wasps.
Oh, man.
Dear
We were
Lord.
like, I didn't know what to do. So, of course, I gave my phone to my son, and he's calling my wife, and I'm, like, trying to roll the windows down. I figured if I could turn the air on and get him out. So I'm trying that. Of course, I get stung twice in the face, and knows my son's talking to my wife, oh, Daddy's cussing now.
I know.
What a nightmare.
Well, what did you finally do?
Get him out. Well, we couldn't get him out, so him and I walked home. Luckily, we were only like a half a mile from our house, So I brought him home, went to the store, got a big thing of Raid, went back, had the windows open, and just sprayed the whole inside of the car with Raid. And then that pretty much killed him. About 15 minutes later, I got in. There were still a couple in there. Well, we sold that car probably about a year later, and I looked up as we were selling it, and the light above was filled with dead wasps everywhere.
The dome light.
It was a nightmare.
Man, that's like a horror movie.
Amityville Horror House.
How about
Yeah, no
that?
doubt.